It is August, the month of August already. We are into the month where we begin high school football games. The end of the month coming up quicker than you know it. Jason Lord in for Zach, the hosting Zach Seiko. He is on assignment tonight. Jamal Ellerbe filling in with me. We are going to have another season preview here. Bellefonte football coming up in a moment here. We'll have assistant coach Rick Hall, also Owen Pettina and Logan Williams joining us as well on the show. A lot going on as we get set for the high school football season. Mid-Penn Media Day was today. Big 33 head coach named earlier. Going to be Mike Farr from Schuylkill Haven High School. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And also dig into a little bit more, obviously, the NIL policy starting to slowly take effect. But and we'll dive into that as well. But first, it's always a great honor to be joined by Bellefonte assistant coach Rick Hall. Also, two players. Coach, how are you on this Wednesday night?
I'm doing pretty good. Getting ready to play golf in a league match around 5:30.
Now, how is your golf? Now, what's the handicap? How's your golf game going here as you get set for it?
My handicap's a 9.8, and I just can't break 79 right now, so I'm trying to get better. That's just like the players.
There you go. There you go. We get set now. We're into the month of August already, Coach. It's going fast already, rapidly here. You're about 18, 17 days away, really, from that first scrimmage. How's the summer been like for all of you so far here as you get ready, as you start to prep now for the season?
Well, I think we've had our ups and downs, and, we finished on and up against a 7-on-7 with Central Mountain. I believe because of our lack of experience right now, losing 10 seniors and, about 4 or 5 of those were two-way players. It's just getting the young kids experience and also getting them up to game speed. But with where we're at right now, I think the summer has gone pretty well.
How much has it helped too? Now you have a full summer, really. Obviously, there's always that worry. Yes, we're not. I don't want to say we're normal, but this is really the first summer where you've kind of had the chance now to have those full-fledged workouts without heavy restrictions. Yeah, obviously 2020 was a much different animal. 2021 a little different, had the full season, but the off season obviously a little different. How much has it helped now where we're entering a time now where you really have that chance to get those full workouts in and prepare for the season a little more?
Well, I think it helps with the implementation of your basic offense and basic defense. There's no doubt that helps. I also, it depends on the school district you're in. I think one of the things that kind of hurts us at Bellefonte, we have a lot of kids that are 2 and 3 sport athletes, that are playing baseball or basketball all summer long. And we don't quite get them there till next week during heat week. But the kids that have been there, have been working hard. I think they're learning the basic offense and defensive concepts. So it definitely does help. And when you go back to basics during heat week, it gets everybody caught up. And it also gets to, you also find a couple of young surprises that you probably never would have counted on if you didn't have the full summer to work out.
And you look at, you go back to last year, obviously a 2-8 season. It really went through a lot of transition. Shannon Manning leaves, Coach Don Moore comes in, and really a couple tough games in there. And also, I'll ask the players this question as well, coming up, Owen and Logan. What's the biggest thing you learned that you were able to take away from last year, you're able to take away to this year now and be better at?
Well, I think one of the things is that the year before, they graduated, I think, 15 to 17 seniors. And I think last year, as we progressed, I think the players started to understand how to execute and play at game speed. At the beginning of the year, because of their lack of experience, they just weren't quite ready for game speed and executing at game speed. And then, yes, we lost a couple tough games, but it wasn't because of the lack of effort. It was just the lack of understanding concepts of football. And I think with the players we got coming back this year, I think we'll start better than we did last year because now they understand the concepts of game speed, and we're more determined this year, all right, to practice that way instead of just teaching a whole new offense and a whole new defense and kind of going through things to make sure kids understand. But we never got to that game speed probably until about halfway through the season.
PA Prep Sports Breakdown here on ESPN Radio 103.7, joined by Bellefonte assistant coach Rick Hall, also Owen Pettina and Logan Williams of the Bellefonte football team as well. Coach, you talked about the preparation now. You go into week one. Obviously, the weeks, you always, James Franklin takes that mentality. You strive to be 1-0 every week. How much tougher can it be at times to not necessarily prepare for week one, but who you're playing week one, and the time frame to play that game is obviously a lot different than weeks 2 through 10. You start thinking about Selinsgrove, and it pretty much right when when you see the schedule out. Okay, that's our first opponent. How much different is it? Preparation might not necessarily be different, but how much different is it now knowing, hey, we've got Selinsgrove right there, week one? How much tougher can it be too?
Well, I think it's more about us, and Coach Franklin talks about that, and other coaches talk about that. We're putting in our defense is pretty much the same with a couple of different wrinkles that I'm going to put in now that I'm the defensive coordinator. We're running a whole new offense, and I think all during the first couple of weeks practice, we gotta make it about us. Let's execute what we do and make them beat us. Yes, will we scout and we're put things in that we're concerned about Selinsgrove, but I think with this team, I think the maturity is a little bit better than last year. Them understanding practicing at game speed. I think it's more about us focusing on us, especially in preseason prior to the first game, and then we can tweak things as we go. But we just got to get better at what we do on a more consistent basis.
Coach, it's Jamal here, and I just have a question. You talked about the new offense you're instilling. What should we see coming out? What firepower are you guys using on this offense? Are you guys going pass heavy, run heavy, or is it just more focused on the guys basing on the fundamentals, the offensive line, pushing guys, being more physical? What is their focus in this offseason and initiating with the new offense?
Well, we're going to change from a zone blocking offensive system to more of a spread run option. The option will be effective in what we do, and then because that allows us for the young linemen that we have. I think zone blocking was tough for them last year. I think blocking in the option system gives us angles and allows them to be a little bit more successful. So it's going to be a little bit more it's a whole different offense. And I think the kids are excited about it. I know that we as coaches are excited about it. And again, that's why I go back to, it's more about what we do. We just got to spend time and the kids understanding this new offense and executing it. To be honest with you, and I used to, be part of an option series with State College way back. And I think that, if you can get 50-50 run pass in that situation, it keeps the defense, honest. They can't anticipate things. And it's going to be option out of the shotgun, option under center, several different tweaks that a lot of local schools that we play don't see.
Coach, speaking on the offense and staying on, you're talking about the offensive line. Are there anything you're drilling specifically that the offensive line players have excelled at and things that they need to improve at? Because obviously that's the biggest part of the new offense you're initiating.
Well, a lot of times in the option concepts, all right, the linemen are blocking at angles, they're blocking down, et cetera, stepping into the gap. The big thing that we've been working on, all right, and Forrest, our line coach, has done a really good job. Once they initiate that blockers, run their feet. All right, if our linemen can get 2 or 3 yards penetration, that really opens it up for the option. It makes it easier for a quarterback to read, all right, whether to give or whether to pitch it or whether to run it. And that's been our biggest concepts in the off season, that which we're going to drill starting next week with Heat Week and 2-a-days, is get a push. All right. Several times last year, I thought the alignment engaged well, but we just didn't get that push.
Coach, how much does it help? Last year, obviously, you get that extra game of the playoff with Juniata. Obviously, you're in the playoffs. It's win for you want to win. You want to move on. But how much does that experience also help that you're able to take into this year now, having that playoff experience at last year against Juniata?
Well, I think the experience lets the student athletes and the football players know, hey, this is what it takes to win. I mean, we were in that game at halftime. And we made a major mistake at the end of the half, or that would have been a one-score game going into halftime. And understanding, getting in situations like that and the young kids getting experience in the playoffs is making them understand that every play counts. It's no different. As you guys know, I coached basketball at Bellefonte when, I took over a very young group 2 years ago, and we got to district semifinals and lost by 2. And, all of a sudden we took off this year because of that experience. And that's what these kids experienced. And they know, all right, what it takes to win districts now, because, the score wasn't, that close at the end of the game, but they were there for half. All right. Now they got to put it together for 4 quarters. All right. And execute and play at that game speed.
Now, obviously, when the schedule's drawn out, you play the games you play who's in front of you that week. I played for a school where we used to play our rival at the end of the year, and very similar, moved it up to week 3. So we played our rival week 3. This year, you guys get, and I'll ask the Owen and Logan this question later on as well. How you play BEA week 3? Does it take away at all not playing them at the end of the year? Obviously, it's your rival; you want to beat them. But how much different is it playing them week 3 as opposed to the end of the year?
Well, I guess it's a catch-22, because I think everybody might be a little bit healthier in week 3 than week 9 or 10. That rivalry, I've only been involved with Bellefonte for about 4 or 5 years as a coach. That rivalry, I don't think it matters when you play it. The kids are going to be pumped up for it, but I think there's an advantage to it. And this is just me as a coach, and I've done this for almost 40 years. Playing that rivalry game earlier and get pumped up for it, and no matter who loses, all right, it's not the end of everything, because you got 6, 7 more games to play. You played at the end of the year, it might cause you to get down right before you go into playoffs. So I think it's a great opportunity. Number one, Jesse and that team's going to be very tough to beat with his son at quarterback. But the kids will be pumped up for it. But no matter when you play it, it's a rivalry game. But to be honest with you, I don't see a problem with playing it week 3, week 5 instead at the end of the year.
Coach, you're looking at your playing that team last season. You guys did get shut out 48-0. Is there anything you're instilling in this team this season? Anything you telling them? Are you guys circling that game on your calendar? Is there extra fire when you look at that rivalry? Or is it just because that's what happens when the two schools face each other?
Well, I don't know. You can ask the players this, but I know that the coaching staff and some of the players after the game, we thought that the game was run up a little bit, but still, it's like you can't. That was last year, and our focus is going to be this year, what we're doing, and you kind of let that go, but you use it as momentum. All right, right before the game or practice preparation, but it comes down to what we do, not what Bald Eagle does. All right, or what any other team that we face. The focus that we will tell the kids, and Coach Vaughn and I've talked about this as well as the staff. It's like, all right, this year, it's like, let's focus on what we do. Don't get caught up in what happened last year. It's over. It's just like you play Bald Eagle in week 3, no matter what happens, we got to move to week 4. And I think that is where teams progress during the season. I have used this with my football players, like coaching basketball. We were like 3-0 in basketball, and we lost to Huntington. Then we ran 15 straight games off, or like 12. Went 12-0 after that because we let that game go, but we learned from it.
And Coach, last thing that I have for you, and again, appreciate your time as always. Talking to Bellefonte defensive coordinator Rick Hall, also be joined by Owen Pettina and Logan Williams. And Coach, I know you got to get going to the show your golf game off here in a few moments. But the last thing I have for you as we sit here August 3rd, what's the biggest goals that you have as a coach now and hoping to accomplish in these next 17 days as you get set for a scrimmage on August 20th?
I think compete in every drill and every practice, all right, and execute. And even though you don't execute that play, execute the next play. Move on. And I think that we got some great team leadership, especially like with Logan and Owen. I hear them talking to the players all the time. And I think the focus has got to be, let's get the offense down. Let's don't get too far ahead of ourselves, offensively and defensively. Like going into next week, I got 4 defenses I'm putting in, and we're not moving on from those 4 defenses between man and zone coverage and stunts until we execute those 4 on a regular basis. And I think that's what our focus is on offense. And I believe I've already talked to some of the players, especially defensively and our secondary and linebackers, is that we're not moving on until we execute these 4 defensive calls, all right, and make it simple, make them play fast, make them fly to the ball, and make them execute. And I think that's going to be our focus. Let's get good at what we do, and then once we get really good at those, then we can start tweaking and moving on from there.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. As we get set, hopefully Owen and then Logan, if you guys can stick around, we'll talk to you guys for a few more minutes, if that's okay. And Coach, we'll let you get to your golf, and obviously looking forward to the season, looking forward to Bellefonte football, looking forward to Selinsgrove August 26th. Thank you, as always, Coach, for your time.
Well, thank you and ESPN for having Bellefonte Red Raider football.
Thank you, Coach. That's Bellefonte defensive coordinator Rick Hall joining us. We'll be joined by Logan Williams and Owen Pettina right after this. You're listening to PA Prep Sports Breakdown on State College's ESPN Radio 103.7.
Now back to PA Prep Sports Breakdown on ESPN Radio 103.7 and 1450. Get in on the action by calling the show at 814-272-9625.
It is PA Prep Sports Breakdown on State College's ESPN Radio 103.7. Jason Lord, Jamal Ellerbe joining me today as a guest co-host, and always happy to be joined by the local high school football. We had the chance to preview Bellefonte today. Coach Rick Hall, defensive coordinator, on earlier. Now we get the chance to talk to the players. Defensive end and offensive lineman Owen Pettina, also wide receiver, safety Logan Williams. Guys, always great to have you. Great to talk to you guys. And how's the summer been so far for both of you?
It's been pretty good. I think we've had a productive summer so far. Everyone's getting better.
We've had a lot of new raw talent coming in, and we got these kids in the weight room. We got us stronger. We improved our game. We even touched base on defense and basic offense. And I think when we're rolling into Heat Week next week, some of these kids will have a good understanding, and I think we can build off that and excel and be ready for the scrimmage.
You guys can't see right now, but Owen has a great red shirt on. It's a button up. He came prepared. So what kind of leadership role are you taking on the field? Because off the field, you seem quite prepared.
Well, on the field, I just want to, make sure we're all understanding everything and that we're all giving forth effort. Because last year, some of our problems were, the practice, some of the effort wasn't there. Some people weren't understanding. And I just want to make sure we have the best season possible by, talking to the players and making sure they understand.
How much has that experience from last year helped you guys that you've been able to take over to this year? Not only obviously the learning experience for you guys, but also the advice. You talked about the leadership roles, the advice you can give now to the younger guys as they enter the varsity level of high school football.
I think that just in general, as a team, everyone being able to play faster will result from us, I guess, being able to have more time to put things together this summer. Because you can't play 100% if you're kind of guessing your assignments. And one thing we've kind of drilled into the younger kids' head this summer is to really know what you're doing. And I think we learned that a lot last year.
In terms of your guys' preparation, your coach did say you guys are instilling a new offense, but he is the defensive coordinator, and you both will play big roles in the defense, obviously on different ends, one up front and one in the backfield. In terms of preparation and knowing the assignments, where have you seen the biggest growth from this team over the summer?
Growth-wise, I would say I've seen a lot of growth based on our offensive line. We've started to get down these new run patterns and block assignments, and we've been really understanding it pretty well. Along with, I've seen some new talent coming into the team. They're able to show out, and I think we're improving almost all around because, well, some of us has already got our first varsity year under our belt, and now we're able to build off that and just see where things go as the season starts.
And obviously, last year, Coach Dom Moyer's first year, but also as a guy really he's worked hard to get to that head coaching job, and he's also obviously worked hard on the field. What's it like to play for a coach like Coach Dom Moyer, guys?
It's good. I think he's doing a really good job, especially considering that he's relatively new to our program. I think this year that it's going to be a lot more evident. I'm excited for this year because of that reason. I think that everybody's kind of more used to each other now and the way we operate. It should be fun.
And I asked Coach Hall this, obviously. You have that rivalry game, and I said the same thing to him. We used to play our rival. We played them at the end of the year. Then they moved it up to week 3. It's our rival. You still got to beat them. You're still up for it no matter what. But how much different is it playing? You can't, obviously, on the field, you can't think of BEA until week 3. But how much different does it have playing your rival there week 3 as opposed to the end of the year?
I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but just because we're still playing them. But I actually think I'm going to prefer it because we're going to have a lot less injuries, hopefully. And yeah, I feel like with everybody healthy, we'll be able to be a lot more competitive than we were last year.
Well, Logan, sticking with you, you're all on the offensive side. And with this new offense, how do you feel it will shape up this season compared to last season?
I think it'll fit our players a lot better personally. And I think that we're already a little bit farther ahead than we were last year as far as everybody knowing what they're doing, especially the line. So I think it'll work out better for us.
How much has it helped? And I asked Coach the same question, obviously. How much does it help having that full summer now where obviously, like I said, you guys have been around, obviously, class of 2023. 2020 was an unfortunate moment. Obviously, you kind of wash away that year, even though you're fortunate you were able to play some games. 2021, you still had the offseason, the restrictions a little bit. And now 2022, it feels like it's, I don't want to say normal, but it feels like you've had the summer now, or even leading up to the summer, where you've had the chance to get those workouts in. You don't have as many restrictions. And does that help you prepare now a little bit more for the season?
I think it does, just because now there's more of a routine and it just feels like everything's a lot more normal and everything's easier when it's like scheduled, and like the challenges that COVID brought, kind of messing around with masks and other things we had to do, it kind of made everything a little bit more difficult, I think, for everybody.
Well, fellas, we're talking football. We're talking the sport we love, the game we enjoy to play. What excites you the most for this upcoming season? And really bring the excitement when you tell me about this.
Well, when it comes to this season, it's just, we're back. We're back for blood. We had a bad season last year, and we're willing to, put that behind us, work hard, and make sure we can turn things around this year, because we've lost some key pieces last year based on, the 10 seniors we had graduate, but we still have the guys who are still able to play football, and I have faith in those guys. And it's just really, we just got to put everything together and be ready for the season.
You talked about the next man up mentality, and the offensive line is doing great. But defensively, sticking with defense, is there any skill group that is excelling so far in camp?
I think one of our strong suits this year is going to be our D-line, because the majority of our D-line last year were either seniors or some underclassmen who were able to get a lot of playing time. And so they can really understand the concept of game speed and their assignment, and them able to execute their assignment. Along with our secondary, we got, once again, experienced secondary who's willing to put in the work, and I'm hoping we can have a good defense this year.
And obviously, the practice, the pads are on at times, but how excited are you guys to get set now to take that field? You have that scrimmage on the 20th, obviously, and then a chance with Selinsgrove week 1. How exciting is it, especially in the off season? It's always week 1, like I said to Coach, you prepare the same, I'm sure, but in terms of, you have more time to think about it, but then that's that first game. How exciting is it to get ready and be set now to take that field August 26th, 27th against Selinsgrove?
It's awesome. I can't wait. Can't wait to get going. It'll be fun.
And the last thing I have for you guys, thank you as well for your time. No question about it. Owen Pettina and Logan Williams of Bellefonte football, talking to them as we preview the Bellefonte high school football season. Last question I have for you guys, and then we'll let you go. To each of you, what are your goals now for this season as we sit here August 3rd?
My personal goals is just general overall improvement. I was injured pretty early on last season, didn't get to play a whole lot. So just, I spent time I couldn't play working on getting better, training, just basically proving it. That's all. General improvement on both sides of the ball, offense and defense.
And Owen, how about you? What goals do you set forth now as you get set for the senior season?
What goals I set for myself and along with the team is just to make sure, we work hard. I mean, I don't care if we go 0-10. As long as I can put faith in my guys and said they worked hard, I'd be proud of them regardless. I mean, I love this sport. I love the people I play with, and I just want to see us excel. But, if we can teach the guys below us who are going to be upcoming classmen, if we can teach them how to do it, maybe this program has some good hope in the future.
You guys are clearly two leaders and two experienced players, and we not only does the program, but we appreciate having you here.
Yep, Owen and Logan, absolutely. Thank you guys for your time. We'll let you get back to it and enjoy the rest of your summer as you get ready for Selinsgrove and high school football season. A couple weeks away. It'll be here before you know it. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you very much.